Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Srinivas Shekar, who is the founder of Pantherun Technologies, which is a cybersecurity and data encryption services company. Hi, Srinivas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Priyaranjan. Glad to be here.
So to start with, Srinivas, I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience and mainly talk about what all did you do before entrepreneurship, where all did you work, how was your early life, and how did you arrive at entrepreneurship? So what triggered that entrepreneur bug in you?
Sure, Priyaranjan. Somehow, I mean, as I'm an engineering graduate from India. Yeah, I did computer science. Yeah. Then I went to the US. I did my master's in computer engineering. Yeah, specializing in chip design or VLSI design from the US.
Okay.
Yeah, and uh, I've always been interested in building technology. So initially, I started working with Rockwell, yeah, which is
Mhm.
a very large semiconductor company building out lots of semiconductor. I was working purely in the aerospace field,
Mhm.
building out silicon as part of a team for people like Boeing and Airbus, Lockheed Martin, and so on. Yeah. So I spent a few years there working on silicon designs where they were building motor control solutions on silicon. This went on to become digital signal processors in future. They made popular by TI and so on. So after in the late 90s, I moved back to India. Was uh, a very early employee in a company called Spark Computers, which built complete product solutions. Yeah, this is uh, we used to design products end to end for customers. So we started, we've done a lot of phone models for Samsung over for about 10 years, over 20 different phone models. We've done infotainment systems for Audi and BMW and so on. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the company was over 600 people. I also grew to become the CEO of the company, and I mean, we sold to Intel in 2013. Yeah. This After that, I again continued to be more focused on entrepreneurship. I started another company called ATech Solutions, yeah, which was in the industrial communication space. Uh, this built products in India, manufactured in Taiwan, sold in 40 countries around the world. Yeah, and I ran this company for about 5 years. I exited it in 2019
Okay.
and decided to start Pantherun. Yeah, so this is my journey. It's throughout my career, I've worked at the cutting edge of technology, mostly in the communication space. I've done a lot of work with building encryption and cybersecurity technology into the networking space. So that's where I mean it's always been an area that I focused on. So I saw a gap in protecting of edge devices,
Mhm.
protecting data within them. Edge is becoming very important today with edge computing and AI moving to the edge and so on. So we thought Pantherun could do something in protecting edge devices, which today have less than 1% protection rate. Yeah, to I mean, protect data and make them secure from attacks.
Got it. And speaking of Pantherun, before we start talking about the product or platform, first let's set the context about what's the problem statement, what is it solving for. So I think in recent years, you'd agree that India and both India and globally, there has been a surge in high-profile data breaches, cyber attacks, ranging from compromised crypto wallets, which happened in India recently, to financial frauds. So how would you describe the current state of cybersecurity, and what shifts are you seeing in the threat landscape right now?
Priyaranjan, when I look at cybersecurity itself, yeah, I think the good part about cybersecurity is there's a a lot of awareness about it. There's a lot of interest in building protection on networks, building protection of data, yeah, preventing attacks, yeah, and so on. There is a lot of interest. There's a lot of awareness. Everybody knows this is the need of the hour. Yeah. The reason for this, of course, is as you mentioned, attacks happening every day around us, around the
Mm,
world. You hear about it. You hear it in the news. You hear uh, you are sometimes affected by it, and so on. I mean, these attacks are going to go on increasing. Yeah, and that awareness is there as well. So that's why networks around the world today are trying their best to get some sort of protection. The
mhm.
gap really is that, I mean, the attackers are very, very well funded today. Yeah. So solutions, I mean, it's not just about the awareness. You need to have solutions that can protect. Yeah. Those solutions need to be well thought out. They need creative minds to come in and build out those kinds of solutions. They need smart capital to come in to help them build it out. Yeah. But this is the scenario today. There is awareness. There is also lots of attacks. There is also lots of attempt to protect. It needs to be more and more and more.
Okay. And in the whole spectrum of cyber security and cyber attacks, I think every entity has a different need. I think the needs would vary from enterprise to mid-market to small companies to individuals. So, what segment of the entities are you solving for, and what are the problems that you are solving for?
Yes, Priyaranjan, now when you look at around us today, I mean, we have we have servers and things like that. We have devices that connect to those servers. Yeah. But we have a lot of other things that are collecting information about us. Yeah. Uh, that make decisions possible. These could be cameras around us, which take care of our security. It could be sensors that regulate air conditioning in our buildings. Yeah. It could be sensors that turn on and off lights around us. Our car is collecting a lot of information about how we drive, how the road is, which routes we take, and so on. Yeah. So our phones are collecting so much of private information about us. The issue is all of this information that's collected today. Yeah. There is not enough protection for it. Yeah, I mean, we hear in certain cases, you hear like WhatsApp has end-to-end encryption, but there's so much else that has no protection at all. And all of this data is stored when it's streamed from a camera, there is no protection at all. Yeah, it comes in as a regular video stream, yeah, without any protection at all. Yeah. Now, why is this protection not there? Because protection or encryption today takes a lot of resources. Yeah. So it's difficult to build it into the smallest of devices. It's also requires a lot of expensive infrastructure in terms of protecting of keys that need to be exchanged over the network and so on. It's called public key infrastructure. There's a lot of investment needed in that, so which people don't make for, I mean, surveillance networks and things like that, because the camera is inexpensive. They cannot put that kind of uh, resources on that network. Yeah. So this is the challenge today. So what we are looking to do is we are looking to enable protection on the edge that can be available in real time without causing delays with minimal resources, eliminate the need for public key infrastructure, key exchanges, and so on, so that all networks, even the most cost-effective or low-cost networks, yeah, can have protection through encryption, protection with a global standard called AES. Yeah, so we are even building it for, I mean, in future you will have things like quantum computers and so on. We're even building protection so that, I mean, you have encryption that is quantum safe.
And I think your company, Pantherun, has developed a patented data protection algorithm that provides real-time AES encryption up to 10 Gbps. So, can you explain that to us, like a breakdown in simple terms? What makes your solution stand out, and just dumb down the things a little bit so that everybody can understand.
Sure, sure. So let's look at a case and example. Let's look at a camera, for example. Yeah, this of course lends itself to all kinds of devices. But if you take a camera today, if you need to do facial recognition, you need very good quality video streams. Yeah, uh, and those video streams today, the camera captures those videos. Okay, it streams it at speeds of up to 10 gigabits per second. That's what I mean by 10 Gbps throughput. 10
Mm-hmm.
gigabits per second of video data streams to a server. Now, today the camera has the ability to take this kind of video stream it, but it does not have the resources to uh, encrypt that stream. Yeah, because this is quite a high throughput stream, quite requires lots of clarity and so on. And then once it gets to the server, you're looking at instantaneous action on that stream. Yeah. So what we've built is we've built a very unique form. We use the standard AES. So AES is a form of encryption that is approved by the world. Yeah, it is considered 100 man-year effort to break if you don't have a key. So you need a key to encrypt. You need the exact same key to decrypt.
Mm-hmm.
So today, when you need to encrypt data or decrypt data, you need to have a key exchange. Yeah.
Right.
So the key has to go from the from between the source and destination. The key has to be passed on so that decryption can happen. Now
Mm-hmm.
we've built a patented approach wherein you don't need this key exchange, because the key exchange is a big vulnerability on networks, because hackers are sitting on networks for months together undetected. They can
Mm-hmm.
see this key exchange, so then they get access to the key, they get access to the algorithm that you use to generate the key, and they are able to find the key to decrypt packets. So
Right.
when you exchange the key, you run that risk. So we've built. So the world, what it does today is that they come up with very expensive hardware that manages this key exchange. Now you cannot put such expensive hardware on a surveillance network, because these are low cost networks. So
Mm-hmm.
so without that, the key exchange is very vulnerable. Yeah. Yeah, plus also the encryption takes a long time today to implement. So what we've done is we've implemented a very compact form of AES, which can even sit on the low cost devices like cameras. We have eliminated the need for a key exchange. We use an AI based algorithm to generate keys in real time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a key is generated in real time, data is encrypted, only the encrypted data flows. Yeah, no key flows. Yeah, at the destination, the key is generated in real time again to decrypt data. So,
Mm-hmm.
so, so this way we have eliminated key exchange. We have eliminated the vulnerability of hackers listening for key exchange. Yeah, we have eliminated the cost of putting expensive infrastructure to protect the key. Yeah, and we've made the encryption much more secure, much more easy to install on a camera. So this is what we've done, and this extends all over. It can be in cameras on surveillance networks. It can be in industrial solutions. It can be in sensors around us in our buildings. Yeah. It can go on our phones. It can go on our laptops. Yeah. And it can do end-to-end protection without need for a key exchange or expensive key protection infrastructure.
Can you give some examples, some real life examples where your technology solved some big problems for other companies out there?
Sure, sure. When you look at metros today, the metro trains have signaling systems. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
These signaling systems basically make sure that two trains don't crash into each other. Yeah, there's only one train on a certain section of track. These are all automated. Yeah, so till date they did not have much protection as these signaling boxes communicated with each other. Yeah, and these are very large networks. Metro runs for hundreds of kilometers. So with every signaling box, we provided our encryption so that encrypted data flows, and there is no way to hack into that network and break the signaling system, create accidents, and so on. So this is one example.
Mhm.
Yeah. We have examples uh, in the sensor area as well, wherein in where robots are working. You have you need to have protection so that if any human comes in there, the robot should immediately stop so that the human doesn't get hurt. So there are sensors called safety sensors which keep track of, any intervention that happens. Yeah. So, and then stops the machine or stops the robot. Yeah. So we provided our encryption solutions there as well.
Great. Got it. And from a very personal point of view, I think I myself and a lot of our listeners, they're always concerned about the cyber security thing from a personal angle, because these are not they are not always the technology guys. They don't understand how encryption works, how to detect if the webcam of a laptop is on or off, or how does the password saving mechanism work. So every day they're using passwords to log into hundreds of websites or portals or anything. So usually what they do is they trust a brand, like let's say there are some electronics brand which say that we are secure and everything. So they trust these kind of brands to secure their everything. But the fraud happens, money gets deducted from their bank account, and personal data is also stolen sometimes. They get into Google Drives, they steal passwords, and a lot of things can happen. So how would you, as a expert in cybersecurity, how would you advise people to be more aware about the cybersecurity from personal point of view, and what are the things to look out for, what are the precautions they should take in day-to-day life?
When you look at what we do on a uh, on a day-to-day basis, yeah, we actually transact extensively using online methods. Yeah, whether it could have started with email, it's lots of messaging today, lots of video calls, and so on. With cameras available everywhere, we take pictures of everything that we do. Yeah. Now, all of this, does have some form of protection because these devices do give us, password protection. They do encrypt whatever is communicated in and out. Yeah,
Mhm,
it's important to make sure that our passwords are updated regularly. Yeah, don't share personal information. Yeah, don't share passwords. Yeah, and things like that. Just because you get queried on it. Yeah, it
mhm,
could be by engines, by emails, by phishing attempts, and so on. So that's one rudimentary way of protection. Yeah, try not to get on public networks. Yeah, particularly because there are ways in which people can break into your devices from public networks. Yeah, and when you share information on public networks, not all of it is encrypted. So, I know sometimes it's an emergency, you have to get on an airport network or something like that. Yeah. Try to avoid that, or try to turn off all of your apps that are critical. Switch them off before you get on those kinds of networks. These are basic things. Of course, a lot of protection has to come from the entities that we work with. Yeah, companies have to use better technology. When they provide us solutions, we are working with banks, we are working with our companies. Yeah, companies need to use protection all around. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Pantherun is has built this out, because we see a very big gap in protecting data. Yeah, there's not enough technology to protect it at all levels. Yeah. So we should try to make our companies also influence our companies into protecting data end to end. Yeah. Now you have zero trust as well. Yeah. Now, this hardware is expensive, but it does provide protection. Yeah. So adopting more and more protection approaches, yeah, while safeguarding our personal data like passwords, our individual identification data, and so on. Though those things do go a long way. Yeah. Try to make sure also when you're interacting or messaging and so on, uh, try to understand what kind of security is there. Only use platforms that at least give you a certain guarantee of security. Yeah. So helps to sometimes look at the fine print. Yeah. Not just click OK to the terms and conditions, read it a little bit. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. And then, and there are forums that help with that as well.
got it. Uh, Now would like to understand few things around entrepreneurship, how you have approached entrepreneurship. So first question that comes to my mind is usually when I see a techie, somebody who understands technologies, they're usually not that great with people management. So everybody have some strengths and weaknesses. So how do you go about, assembling people? Because as an entrepreneur, you cannot do everything yourself. You have to find like-minded and talented people who can, drive your vision forward. So how do you first find them? Then how do you convince them to join you, to be a part of your mission? And then the other challenge that comes with it is retaining those talents, because tech talents are expensive and they are very easy to lose to other companies. So how do you retain them in long term?
Priyaranjan, this is a honestly a question that is very, very hard. Yeah, it's something that I may have been doing this for 30 years. It's something that I'm learning on every day. Yeah, we don't all start with the best interpersonal skills. It is something to build on. We don't always start with the best technical skills. It's something that we learn. Yeah. So the idea is to talk to more people. Yeah. As an entrepreneur, you have to always be willing to talk to more people, because in a conversation that you feel is not leading anywhere, you may find the right person to manage your team. Yeah. So it may not be a technical conversation that you think is going anywhere, but then you might find a partner who's like-minded, who believes in your abilities, whose abilities you can believe in to manage the team. So it's about taking every conversation in the right spirit, try to figure out who you meet, what piece they can solve for you. Yeah, and do that. Retaining people is very hard. It's not just in technology. I think in all forms of work, retaining people is very difficult. You have to engage. You have to try to engage people in their interests. Yeah, if they're working in areas that they're interested in. Yeah, uh, of course, you have to do all kinds of things in a company. It's not that you can only pick the area that you're interested in to work in. Yeah, so you have to show people that you work with that, you give them areas of interest while also having to do the slightly more mundane things. So that does help in retaining talent.
Mhm.
Yeah, and but this is no there is no one solution to this. This is you need to find solutions for the varied kind of problems that you'll find. But that's the difficult part of being an entrepreneur. But that's also the part that interests a lot of people, saying that entrepreneurship is not about the mundane. It's about something different that you're aiming for. Of course, there will be a lot of mundane things to do if you have to get to wherever you're aiming for. Yeah, but uh, look and listen to people. Yeah, even if you are not the best conversationalist or a communicator. Yeah, listen to them. If people feel that you're listening to them, hearing them, and things like that. People feel that much more close to you. Yeah, and then you pick and choose. Okay, this person can do this for me. Try to sell them on your vision, and and I mean, people will join if your vision, you believe in it yourself. Yeah, you will be able to communicate that part of it, and people will believe it then.
Okay. So here is my last and final question. Uh, for those who are listening to us, who are interested about entrepreneurship, what advice would you give to these aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking into to break into the cybersecurity space, or or any space in general? What advice would you give to people who are passionate about entrepreneurship now?
I honestly think there are a lot of problems around the world that require solutions. Yeah, way more than I mean, than say a year ago. Yeah, way more than 2 years ago, and so on. And there will be way more in the coming year. Yeah, because we're surrounded by I mean, things that we need. Yeah, things that I mean, we did in a more inconvenient way before, which can be made better. Yeah, so there are a lot of problems. I mean, it takes uh, minds working on it. Yeah, takes an intelligent approach to try and solve a problem, and we have it all in us to do that. Yeah, and each of these solutions in one way or the other, small or big way, does have commercial applications. Yeah, and so you have to figure out how you solve problems. Yeah, what problem to take, how to solve it, what the target market is, and that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Whether you take it in the cybersecurity area, you take it in the technology area, you take it in the retail area. Yeah, everywhere there is a problem waiting to be solved. I mean, we had uh, retail. We would go to the shops, buy stuff. Then we had delivery to home. Then we have delivery in less than 15 minutes to home. I mean, so there is always something to improve on, something to get there with. Yeah, so likewise with us, we do encryption. There was encryption. The Germans used encryption in World War II. Yeah,
Yes.
to yeah so encryption's been there for as long as you can think of it. Yeah, but there's better and better and better ways, gaps in whatever we are doing, and that's entrepreneurship. Think up something that you can solve. uh, think up like-minded people. I mean, talk to like-minded people. You get them to solve it with you. Yeah, and there's a commercial angle to it.
Well, I think on this note, we will close the session. Thanks for joining us. We learned a lot of things from you, especially in the areas of cybersecurity. And I personally think we need more ventures like you in India, because India is growing. India's cyber crime is growing like anything, and lot of micro and individual hackers are coming into the picture. So we need more ventures like you to protect data, and mainly from a individual standpoint, because every human now is vulnerable in Indian context. Everybody is vulnerable to data hacks and financial frauds. So kudos to you for doing the great work, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Priyaranjan. Grateful and honored to have joined. Yeah,
It was our pleasure as well. Thank you, Srinivas.
thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.